So speaking of tech moguls now, let's
Mitchell.
finally talk about the Mitchells versus the Machines.
Right.
This is a Sony animated feature
Yeah.
that clearly was supposed to be for big screen, but
Yeah.
Netflix was like, nah, but we buying this shit. So
Right.
yeah, no, we get to watch this home. Although, in my honest opinion, I would have much preferred to see this on big screen, but that's just
Yeah,
me, right?
me too. I kind of annoyed that we couldn't get to see it on big screen. It looked great, and I love all the little details, and they had all these little, a lot of great visual gags in this. So it was like all
Yes.
these little small things and references to jokes previously in the show and references to general pop culture. And like, okay, I really wanted to see this on a bigger screen to
Mhm.
pick up more of the details and stuff. 'Cause I found myself rewinding just to see a bit now, a lot.
Yeah, me too, me too. I
Yeah,
was rewinding ever so often, right?
yeah.
It's written actually by well, one of two of the writers will be we boys Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, right? You
Oh,
would know them for
they wrote it or they were just producers? They wrote.
um well the sorry, they actually produced. They actually
Okay, okay,
produced. My
right,
bad,
yeah.
my bad.
I saw
Yeah.
their name. I was like, oh, they do production. I might have so much creative freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you know the two like stuff with like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which
yeah,
I totally love.
yeah.
The
Great,
Lego Movie, which I actually own on
lovely.
Blu-ray. Yeah,
Right.
they do quick, witty, self-referential meta humor very, very well. And they just do it so frantic, so frenetic, but at the same time there's like a level of intelligence and just like really clever humor to it, right? And it's the directorial debut of Mike Rianda. You probably will be familiar with him, Ricardo, because I still haven't watched Gravity Falls, but
Right.
he
Yeah.
worked on that show,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah, and he also provided the voice of one of the characters. Well, the youngest Mitchell, I should say,
The boy.
Iran.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. Like, well, okay, okay, but yeah, what is the Mitchells versus the Machines about?
Yeah, so basically, there's a family. There's the older girl. She about to go to college. Her dad. She kind of fall out. Not really fall out, but kind of grow apart from her dad. And the mom just kind of squaring how to balance them off. But because she is a distant kind of kid, normal typical kid shit, she kind of found herself on the bad end of these arguments. And when she's about to leave now, they well, the robot apocalypse happens, and for a very funny and silly reason, voiced by my boy
Eric Andre,
Eric
the
Andre, Eric
one,
Andre,
the
yeah,
only.
Eric Andre. And they had to. So what happens is they decided to take a road trip, and if she didn't, the road trip was allowed to escape the robot apocalypse, and they had to solve the robot apocalypse problems. And all these little plots and issues and plot reasons as to how they had to get from point A to point B to point C to solve the problem, and then basically walk through the family drama. And I thought this was excellent. I really enjoyed this
I am so glad to
overall.
hear that. 'Cause I thought you
Uh,
would have been like, the joke. No, all right. Here's the thing. Like, I will confess, while I was watching this, I was just for like about a minute, I was thinking about Wreck-It Ralph 2.
right,
And
right.
I remember what you said about Wreck-It Ralph 2, how you didn't like, how you felt that the jokes were old, right? Were stale, right? And that is because really, we'll get to the show in a bit. Get back to the show. Is because you're taking a show that was pretty much, just making fun of, classic video game characters, and you're bringing them into the YouTube generation. So you're throwing all these old YouTube jokes, right?
Right.
And they kind of do that here. Like, I remember it's a Sony show, so they
Right.
always have to reference pop culture and like
No,
every
well, all right.
second,
So
right? But
why?
there were
Right.
there were points where I was like, okay, I was a little worried that they were going to lean out too much on old,
No.
2000s and
Well,
2010s
here's
YouTube
why
jokes.
it worked. Here's why it was much more intelligent, because it was by definition a reference of nostalgia for the characters involved, most notably
That's right.
father and the daughter.
Correct.
So it
Yeah.
was when that was relevant, and why that was happening as it was. That's why it
Yeah.
worked. I mean, it wasn't about the reference itself. It was about the two characters having the working nostalgia of that,
Yeah.
as it
Correct.
was. And I thought that was very, very clever, what they did with it, and
Yeah.
it was genuinely heartfelt. Like, it was good. Yeah, it wasn't in your face about it. They didn't even make it an issue. very, very small and slight. If you pick it up, you didn't even notice. Slight LGBT references. Yeah, good. All of
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay, that's
yeah. It's
that's
like
that's clever
made
how they brought
yeah,
that. They didn't
yeah.
stop the show to tell you,
No,
hey,
didn't notice it.
boom. But it was
You're not.
like, yeah,
Yeah, you're
it's
not,
one of those blink and you miss it moments. But I'm
yeah.
not
Little,
saying
little blink and you miss it.
wait for it.
Right,
It'll come in, and if you pick up on it, great. You know what I mean? Much power to you. There you go.
right. Little things like that I didn't mind. So it again matter of fact because you had to know to balance that, right? Um, Stuff like that. But that's the story itself. The main strength of it was um the voice acting. Everybody was bouncing off each other so well. The visual
Agreed. Yeah.
gags, the mix between the visual gags and the voice acting, right? Everybody is bouncing off each other very, very well. I'll say the side characters really work. Like it had this great thing with I think is oh, what was this boy name boy? Beck Bennett and
Yes. Yes.
um,
SNL. Well,
yeah,
current member. Yeah.
yeah, and the other fellow was
Fred Armisen.
Fred Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
Two of
a
them,
former cast. Yeah,
right,
former
yeah,
cast
former
member.
SNL wrestler, yeah, remember. Two of
Mhm.
them was bouncing off each other. They were funny together.
Yeah.
Maya
Indeed.
Rudolph was in this. She was good. Eric Andre was good. Your girl Olivia Colman was good. She was being
Oh my God, she
she played the
was
main antagonist.
hilarious. Yeah,
She was
there's one scene involving a meltdown that had me in
yeah,
stitches,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And
so
then
brilliant.
they had the all the little visual gags were great. They had all these little jokes, little small little references, these little things that they just bounce off each other. And then but then everything comes back full circle with the core of just a good family story. When just a father and a daughter having to like just meet each other halfway and how they're gonna resolve their issues and positions. And they made it
Yeah,
work. They really, really made it work. They really felt for these characters. They made it genuinely fun. And as is one of these things that could have easily if I would say this was suspect. This is my speculation. If they went to theaters, I suspect that we would have probably not. It wouldn't have been as good, this good. They'd have cut a bunch of shit. They'd have probably tried to get rid of the LGBTQ aspect of the story, little stuff like that. I feel they would have cut out. If it was in theaters. Personally, I really thought that would have happened because it felt
mm.
like it had so much creative freedom, though. Like it felt like
it,
it had
it it did.
so much
Yeah,
creative freedom just from. But it makes sense given the character, right? Given the main character and what her whole deal is, right? And I just really, really enjoyed what they did with it, and they made it. It just worked, right? It does familiar story tropes, but it's so well executed. I can't be mad at it. It's just so well done.
yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm down. I'm 100% down with you. I thoroughly enjoy this. I was so surprised that I was enjoying this. And funny thing, I think like okay, like I don't want to like look back and be like, oh, these are the reasons why I enjoy the show so much. The time that I actually watched this, right? Yeah, you know, what I mean, like rain was pouring down hard, and it's just that cold, kind of depressing kind of atmosphere, right? And then this is, for us Trinis, this is right after, our loving prime minister, you know what I mean, let us know about this whole lockdown thing there. So you know what I mean. So I just needed to watch something just to escape and just feel happy, and this show provided that for me. Now I don't want to look back and be like, oh, well, the reason why I enjoy this is because of those two elements, right?
right.
Because yeah, I have a feeling that if I go back to it, I will enjoy it just as much as I did the first time. But yeah, this is designed to just turn your frown upside down, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to kind of make this as this happy go to happy film basically, right? But it's just how fun it is, how witty it is, how sharp it is, how it moves at just not so much as at a breakneck speed, like say Lego Batman movie for example, right?
right, right.
But it gives you enough moments for you to understand the family dynamic, but it'll just throw all these just visual gags at you, and it's almost the point like you just have to kind of duck one, you know what I mean? 'Cause it just moves so quickly, right? If I have one minor gripe though, is that it does run a little too long,
Oh,
basically.
you're right.
But I kind
No,
of attribute it to see how
that's what's yeah. No, that's
well,
all attributed
yeah,
to the length, the actual being at home versus in theaters. If it was in
right,
theaters,
bingo.
it would have been a little shorter, and they would have had to cut a little bit of stuff, and it would have probably been like good stuff. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
However,
I agree. And you know what you were saying about the LGBTQ stuff, they
right.
probably would have cut that out and just say, well,
I
we had to think about time and kids sitting
yeah,
down and
there's always
blah blah
find an
blah.
excuse.
It's like,
Yeah, there's always find an
no, not
excuse.
really. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it does. You do feel the length of it, right? And I would say It reminded me a lot of like the Incredibles films, right? Which
Right.
is about a family, right? So you always have the, well, I guess with those films, basically, you always have to have enough moments, enough family dynamic moments, and they got that here with this. So I feel that's why they kind of stretch things out like that. But even still, I mean, it was just so well told. Though I
Yeah.
was worried with the references to older pop culture stuff. Case in point, a particular song that pops up. Like when the first time I heard it, I was like, "Wow, I have not heard this in ages." But I'm
Yeah.
a little worried now because
Yeah.
with shows of this nature, they'll just pull a song and it's like,
That's the
"Oh,
thing.
well, I remember that song because nostalgia. Now I need to see
Right.
the
But they
show
make it. They
because
make
it's
it
in
right,
the movie, right?"
and they
But they
fit it in.
make it work. They make
Yeah.
it fit
Yeah.
perfectly. And when that moment hit,
Yeah. It's good.
as over the top and crazy as it was, I just had a big goofy smile on my
Yeah.
face, and I was like, "Yes, yes." If I watch it, I'm not sure how to react it if I watch it in theaters, but I imagine kids and all would have been smiling. Parents would have been smiling at that moment too, in particular, right? Speaking of which, though, I thought that the characters were so likable. From
Yes.
Katie, voiced by McGill, Abby Jacobson. You remember her from
Right.
the
Right.
Great Broad City.
Right.
Danny McBride, who plays Rick. I didn't even pick up on his voice. I was like, oh yeah, that's him, right?
Right. Right. Right.
McGill, Maya Rudolph, right, who plays
Right.
the
Mom. Yeah.
mother, Linda. Mike Rianda, who plays Aaron. I like how they make him like this weird kid who real into dinosaurs and he real awkward around girls and stuff like that. Like I thought that he was going to be like the cliche. You know what I mean? Like I'm just weird for the sake of being weird, but they make it work. They make it work, right?
What? Yeah. What?
Um,
Because they give him a little side arc involving another character, and I really enjoyed like how they did that. It's like, oh, okay, that it's really cute
yeah.
and funny, but at the same time it makes sense. And there's some of the funniest gags, like especially at the end
Mhm.
where he dives out a window, which I thought was
Yes,
hilarious. Yeah.
that was hilarious. Yeah, and there was even the and I like how they just touch on what they all fancy basically, right? So
Right.
case in point, Aaron's into dinosaurs, and there's a great moment involving on the road trip. Being just a stop in terms of dinosaurs. That's all we'll see, right? Linda, the mom, had a nice little subplot involving her trying to impress her neighbors
I
who
right. That's
a surprise to
Chris
say, I'm
Segan.
sorry, yeah, forgive me, but I did not know until the
Yeah.
credits roll that
Yeah.
was John Legend and Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
have picked up on it from the
And it's
teasing
them,
point,
eh?
but like, I didn't even know, like, I
It's
didn't know
them.
they were
Yeah.
in this. You know
But
what
they,
I mean?
they basically played themselves.
Yeah, but Chrissy took it from me, boy. That's how
Yeah,
she
she's good.
portrayed herself, quote unquote, was
Yeah. Yeah.
hilarious. I love that. Um, but yeah, boy, and well, Danny, of course, sorry, well, Rick, the father, really trying to to connect with his daughter, right? Even though he just doesn't understand, the kind of films that she makes, and points for kind of making her films be really weird,
I
Nazi,
love that. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, which is very like contemporary now. I mean, it's like yeah, she in the YouTube generation, so yeah, she just make weird stuff and you could kind of question if that's enough for you to get to go to film school,
Right,
but
right.
whatever. It's an animated film, folks. Deal with it.
Great, it's
Let's
great,
say
it's
they
great.
had to make weird YouTube videos and you get through. No, that's not what you should see, right?
Right.
Um, and yeah, I really dug the Eric Andre who plays he plays a guy who pretty much creates the AI. I
Right.
just love this moment, this where he talk about, oh, this is the AI that you all love. Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
upgrade this thing, boom, right now. And it just starts
Yeah.
the whole conflict basically.
And the story ever so often you hear them just throw shade at tech companies. Like
Yes.
yeah, yeah, they just throw shade at tech companies. Like, hey, it's almost as if blah 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 about data or about big data and giving it to the AI is a good idea. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
they just throwing
Yeah.
shade at Facebook or whoever it is.
Yeah, Fred Armisen and Beck Bennett. I thought they were
They
great
were
too.
great. They
They,
were
yeah,
great
they
together.
were great though. They just play these robots who suddenly become aware that they're robots, so they're
Mhm.
trying to be human, quote unquote. And it
Yeah.
just made for some genuinely hilarious moments though. But I did not expect to hear McGill Olivia Colman in this though.
Yeah.
She is the villain, so to speak, by and just the
Yeah.
moments. This when you see her in the film, that's all you say.
Right.
It's just a stroke of genius.
And
And
it's
the
a
points that she make, like I thought it was gonna be all like real heavy Gen Xer talking about, well, this is why only young people, so obsessed with YouTube and all them kind of thing. But no, it makes sense given who the character is, really. When you
Right.
think about it, it just works. And
And,
that
and,
meltdown, like I say, though, just had me in
yeah,
stitches, man.
and a nice piece of writing. It created a working parallel between her and the main character. No? Like that worked. Like
Yeah,
clearly, the abandonment issues versus that whole dimension of it. So everything come back full circle in the material. No?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's very well just well made and conscientious in the writing and just done and just they're legitimately charming. So yeah, I'm gonna give a rating a quick
Yeah, yeah,
it,
give it no, give it
yeah,
no.
eight out of 10, maybe a nine. The more thinking about it, but it was just so well executed and well done. This one could be a classic, actually. More think about it. I could imagine it. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, people coming back to this one and saying, "Hey, this was pretty clever and well done."
Yeah. Well, again, I have to agree, man. I
Yeah,
could see this being a classic in the long run. I could see this being one of the best animated films, hell, films of the decade, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
But I would say before I get to rating, though, it is not some sort of groundbreaking film that's going to change the face of everything. No, it's just a very well told, very well animated. I thought that the animated was so well
yeah,
done in this, and there's these little sprite moments basically where you just see like all this like it's how basically they incorporate 2D, 3D, some hand
yes,
drawn stuff, and it just
yeah,
gives it its own personality. I really love that. Very well scored actually. I really dug the music for this, and also the sound design because remember we talking about Robot Apocalypse, so yeah, you have moments of action and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, yeah. The sound design was on point. And yeah, just a charming family comedy that literally families could watch and enjoy, man. So yeah, for me, I'm giving this a light 4.5 out of 5, man. This is hands down one of the best shows I've seen all year. This is probably the best animated feature I've seen this year, and I want it to be. But I know Pixar dropping something. What is it? I can't remember. This thing with
okay.
the little
More
the
boys.
yeah, the more
Yeah,
boys
I don't know what
thing.
about. Well, I want to say last something. It's Spanish. It's supposed to be in a Spanish tongue, Italian tongue, or something like that. I know you're talking.
It's Italian. It's Italian. Yeah,
Right, right. I
yeah.
know you're talking.
But I like I'm not saying like Pixar can't come through with a great show. I mean, look at Soul, right? But now in terms of what this show is going for, in terms of just the heart, the humor, and just these quick jokes, like I'm sorry, like there's no way you could watch this and not be entertained, right? So yeah, totally love this. I'm actually surprised that you dug this as well. And last thing I'll say though, in terms of just me being worried about the jokes, being stale and whatnot. No, 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 no. They make it very fresh, make it contemporary as well. They go weird, when it needs to as well. I just really like the fact that they just had the opportunity to just make something their own. So yeah, we could just go as over the top and just bonkers as possible, but
Yeah.
still at the heart is a really really nice and endearing
It's yeah.
family
But
comedy.
the strength of it was there's a good family. There's a good like visual gags. Like it just had a great little thing and a little thing on the side. That is the thing. And they'll have like
Yeah,
a small thing on the side. It's like, okay, you have to look at this and why this funny because here's why. Little stuff like this.
yeah,
And they make it
yeah.
work.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. So I'd imagine if you're not into that style of humor where jokes coming at you like a mile a minute, you probably wouldn't like it. But I would say if you love comedy, and for somebody like me who yeah, I'm one of the few that like you don't have to make too much of an effort to make me laugh though, but you really gotta come good, and this show totally did that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you into great comedies, great family comedies, great animated films as well too, yeah, you will have a blast with this. And I would say just including Sony Pictures Animation on a roll, but like we like last time we praised their stuff was what Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Well,
That
yeah,
was
I
like
mean,
what 2 years ago?
exactly. They know it about three, yeah, about three, that, right?
Well, three,
Yeah,
three. Well,
yeah,
roughly
about
three.
that. You're right,
Yeah,
yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I mean, they what they have been doing is they just get just workable scripting and they'd be relatively independent. Like, look, Pixar still, in my opinion, still pretty good.
yeah, yeah,
DreamWorks,
yeah, yeah. I'm not
yeah,
giving up on Pixar anytime soon. No, just saying. Yo, just saying you had to welcome the competition, just
right.
welcome it, not
But
always blow about the
Sony,
water.
right?
No.
What Sony has always been kind of halfway, on terms of quality for me, right? They not as bad as say Blue Light or one of those guys, but it just they just never really
Is blue
bring
light or no? It's blue sky. You know
Blue
what I mean?
Sky. Sorry, sorry about that.
Right. Where
Thanks for
you know like Ice Age was good, and then you just start
yeah,
dropping all with them sequels, especially
right,
four. Oof, horrible. Yeah.
yeah, you're right, and that's the whole thing about it. Is that what they try to do for it is they just just have like workable ideas and don't waste your time trying to copy or follow things. Don't try to be Pixar. Don't try to be this. Don't try to be thing. Just be get your own image and cater to your own workable niche. And they make it work. They really make it work.
Yeah, indeed. So, yes, folks, this is the real deal. It's on Netflix, which is kind of unfortunate though, because yeah, this needed to be on big screen, but this needed to be there. But forward to it, it's there. You know what I mean? It's on Netflix, so yeah, definitely check it out.
Right.
Hey, this is Matthew Bailey, and I hope you've enjoyed this segment of the BS Beats and Bailey podcast. If you'd like to hear the full episode, hit up my link tree. On the other side of my head are 2 videos you can check out. Like this video if you like it, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell as well. Thanks for listening, and until the next one, take care, peace.